everybody. I hope you're having a great day off of school today and that you've had a wonderful long weekend. I wanted to give you a little something to think about because we're not going to see each other for Hebrew school this afternoon. So a little message from the Torah portion of the week for you to think about today and maybe even discuss with your parents and family. In this week's Torah portion, Parashat Bo, the Jewish people are given a very important commandment. In fact, the first commandment that's specifically given just to the Jewish people. In the middle of all the slavery and Exodus narrative, God says to the Jewish people, you get to have your very own calendar. And that's important for people who were slaves because they didn't get to determine their own time. Everything that they did, when they woke up, when they went to sleep, when they ate, when they rested, when they worked, was all determined by Pharaoh and by the taskmasters and by powers beyond them. So when God says to the Jewish people in the middle of our parasha, the first gift of freedom is that you get to determine your own time. You get to determine your own calendar. You get to determine when you do all of the important things that you want to do in your life. That's a pretty important mitzvah, a pretty important gift that God gives the Jewish people as they become free after so many years of slavery. But here's the interesting thing. The calendar that the Jewish people are given is largely determined by the moon. As you probably know, the Jewish calendar is primarily a lunar calendar. The sun, when you see it in the sky, is pretty much the same every day, right? It might be at different places on the horizon, but the sun is never smaller or bigger or half or full. The sun always looks like a full sphere in the sky. The moon, however, very different. Depending on what day of the month, what week of the month, the moon could be a sliver in the sky, almost that you can't even see it, or it could be big and bright and full. So the question is, why does God give the Jewish people a calendar that's based on the moon instead of the sun? So here's what I want you to think about. The moon is always changing. The moon is a lot like life. Sometimes we feel bright and full and strong and complete and things are going great. And sometimes we feel a little bit less full and bright and complete. Sometimes we have really great days or weeks or months or years, and sometimes things don't always go the way that we planned or the way that we'd like. And the important thing to remember is that no matter how dark or dim or incomplete things might be, we always know because of that moon in the sky that it's going to get brighter and it's going to get fuller and that the light is going to come back. Right? So our ancestors for many generations, when they were being persecuted and when things were not going well, all they had to do is look up into the night sky and see the moon growing in its light and in its beauty, and they were reassured and their hope was restored because they knew that no matter how dark times were then, that there would always be more light to come in the future. And I want you to think about that too in your life when things are kind of down or you're not feeling so good about the world or what's going on in your life. Remember the gift that God gave to the Jewish people of a calendar based on a moon that sometimes is a sliver, sometimes it's just a little bit of light, but we always know is growing towards a full, beautiful, bright sphere in the middle of the night sky. So I hope that you always have hope and that you always know that more light and more hope is always on the horizon. Have a great day today, and I hope to see you soon at our Shalom.